want to cut these up. I probably should have done this before I started filming, but you know, just coming along with me. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today, we are gonna be creating a lot, like a lot. Like a rapid fire intuitive art day, okay? That's what we'll call this one. I'm gonna do some in the sketchbook, but I'm also going to do a lot on paper. I have cut this paper up. This is just kind of some pieces of paper that have gotten messed up and I wasn't really gonna use them for anything. They're thick. This is the Canson oil and acrylic paper. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to jump from page to page to page to page and keep moving quickly so that I don't ever have a chance to really think about what is forming on the page, and then just try out a lot of different things. And then hopefully by the end, we can go back through all of the pieces and pick out our favorite ones, or if there's a lot of favorites, I can just narrow it down to like one or two and kind of play off of those. It's gonna start out as very abstract mark making type stuff, but we're gonna build it up and then we're gonna find shapes and different views and, you know, just see what happens. A lot of intuitive art ends up just being kind of one abstract piece. But I like to turn them into whatever I can kind of see in the marks and shapes, because I don't know, my brain just wants to make the marks and shapes into something. So that's what I usually do. And I will be doing one in my sketchbook also. As far as like art supplies, I'm gonna be using my Caran Neocolor IIs and my Stabilo Woodys. These are also Caran Neocolor IIs. They're the other halves of those, just paperless. I also have some acrylic inks sitting over here waiting to be used. And there's a lot of there's 8 pieces of paper. So I'm just gonna be using my Neocolors in my sketchbook. And we're just gonna start out. I like doing shapes, I like doing squares. I'm going to use this paint marker that I put acrylic ink into, but I'm not going to use a whole lot of it. I just want to get a little bit going here. Maybe throw some water on it before it dries. I don't want it to become too muddy looking. And just like that, this page is like almost ready to stop. Not that it's done, it's not done for sure, but I want to keep moving through the other pages and not get too focused on one thing. So I know it looks like a mess. It's supposed to look like a mess. For those of you who have never seen one of my videos where I do the intuitive drawing and painting, you're probably gonna be like, what is the point of this? But you'll see by the end of it, so stick around. Let me show you one of my, let's see. Let me get one of my other sketchbooks out. All right, so for instance, this was similar to this when I started it, because I just kind of went and then it ended up looking like a frog guy sitting on a bench. You know, it started out as something similar to this, and by the end of it, I turned it into something like this. All right, so that's it for that page. And what I'm gonna do is actually just put this right on top of it while it's drying. Mash it in here. All right, so we're gonna do more to this one, but if you see anything in this one, let me know what you see. Something, I don't know, something's weird here, but other than that, I don't really see a whole lot. Okay, now for this one, I'm gonna throw a little bit of this on it. And I got this brush, Master's Touch, but it's like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's almost like plastic. It's not soft at all. So, and I've never really used it before, because it's kind of like, what do you even do with that? And I don't have don't really have anything to clean it off with, so we'll just kind of spray that and clean it off that way. All right, so this is one of those pages that already had something on it, and I'm gonna sandwich it. Okay, I wasn't really planning on working on two at the same time, but now I am. Maybe go in with this also. You can definitely see the texture of the paper now. All right, there's another one. Not sure what it's gonna be, but we'll come back to it. I kind of like how this one doesn't have a big block of color of anything, so I'm just gonna kind of leave this one kind of weird like that. I'm gonna try to do like a little water and then do the ink. Okay. Not really sure where, there's the water. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that. All right, already I feel like this is gonna be my favorite one. I can already tell because of the colors that I used. This paper is definitely interesting to use with the Neocolors. It reminds me of how canvas paper kind of acts, because it allows everything to kind of flow, but it also has that texture, canvas texture. And it's a lot cheaper than canvas paper because it's not real canvas. All right, so far this one's my favorite. I already see something in this, mostly with this right here, but we'll see, you know. I love what happened down in here just by mixing those colors together. So yeah, this one's definitely going to be interesting to come back to. I think I'm going to play off of these marks that are already here and use these colors. Oh, got a casualty because I was pushing down way too hard. Definitely landscape vibes, unless you turn it a different way, maybe. This one I'm gonna turn this way so that I don't automatically go off of this. I feel like I'm gonna wanna turn this into, you know, the pyramids. I really liked doing the water. It's like having splashes of water randomly, dragging acrylic ink across it, and it just kind of hits wherever the water is and kind of does its own thing. Okay, I feel like I like this one so much, I kind of want to splat it. Put it on another page. So I can kind of work off of like two of the same kind of design. Definitely a different look. But yeah, I like both of those. Okay, last one. I think I want to use some red because I don't use a lot of red. Water on that. Last but not least, a lot going on in this one. Now, what I think I might do is leave those to dry some more, and then come back like tomorrow with like a completely fresh look at everything, and then keep going with it. All right, it's been a couple of days. I started to come back to these yesterday, and for whatever reason, I just wasn't in the mood. Some days you're like full of creative, inspirational, whatever, and then some days you're just kind of like, it all just seems so exhausting. And yesterday was that kind of a day for me. But today I'm back at it and I'm excited about it because I see a couple of things in here. For starters, this one, I looked at it a bunch of different ways and I kept coming back to this way, mostly because I see like 2 or 3 things in here and I really want to play off of maybe all of those things somehow. So for starters, it looks like a woman sunbathing, this is her bathing suit. The black part is her bathing suit, and then that's her skin. And then like this is like a big sun hat or something that she's got either over her face or like behind her, like maybe she's looking down on one of those like lounge back chairs. Anyway, so I saw that. And then the other thing I saw was right here. Okay, and this one's gonna be a little bit tricky to show you, I think. Kind of like an owl. So right over here, this is an eye, and I'm guessing there's another eye over there somewhere, but this is its beak. You know how owls have like the feathers that kind of poke up, okay? So this is its head, and then this is its big old body, and he's just kind of like lay in like that. And then I see right here is like a pigeon face. So like there's the beak, there's the eyeball, and then this would be his head come around. Pigeon or a seagull, something with that kind of a simple head. So yeah, given that there's like a woman back here sunbathing and an owl that's kind of like chilling, and then this, I thought about, what if this is like at a pool and so there's water, okay, which is why it's blue. So what if the owl is on like a little pigeon floaty, or I could turn the pigeon into like a flamingo and have its neck come this way, and this is like the floaty, and then the owl is like on the floaty in the pool while this woman's in the background sunbathing. I know, y'all probably think I'm a Looney Tune, but this is just, you know, what can I say? But yeah, so that's what I saw in this one. I think it's gonna look kind of cool. So there's that one. This one is just kind of plain. If you turn it this way, it almost looks like a swing set, like a park and a swing set maybe, but I don't really have any big ideas with that one. I would need to like splash some more stuff on here and play around. This one, I love this one so much as it is. Like, it's kind of definitely an abstract something. If you turn it this way, it kind of looks like a swamp. So this might be like the water line, all right? And then there's all this tall grass right here. You're kind of looking across the water. And then there's all these little bugs, little things like that. This might be like a dragonfly. Like I could do a big dragonfly right here flying across, but it just kind of looked like a swampy kind of scene. That's what I got for that one. May or may not play around with that one today, I'm not sure. I just really like how all the colors dried on this one. If you take this and make it round like a hill or a small earth. If you were to take the earth and kind of like fisheye it, I guess. And then this is like a tree and clouds. But yeah, lots of cool stuff happening with this one. This one I have no idea. I turn it all different kinds of ways, and I really I can't come up with anything at the moment for this one, which is totally fine. You know, you're not always gonna have something at the first, the first pass of this. So I definitely need to keep playing around with this one, but I do like the colors. This one is almost completely done. In my opinion. Definitely some kind of like either a boat with either a dog, or I thought about turning this into a unicorn animal and then having this be like a person. Okay, so that's the head, and maybe the person is like hugging the dog / unicorn / thing, sitting like cross-legged on the edge of the water, and then there's like the shadow in the water, and then this is just the sunset in the background. So I thought about that. This one actually kind of looks like a horse portrait. Here's his nose, eyeball, and ear, and then the hair from the horse, and then it kind of goes that way. Almost like a little portrait. And then this one is challenging because I really like how this one looks just as is. But I got a couple of things, right? So right here, if you kind of cover everything up, this looks like a nose. Obviously that doesn't look like a face at all. The other thing is like, it almost looks like this is like a lake, and this is the bank of the lake, and then this is like two people sitting together like hugging. But if you turn it this way, it looks like also a lake with a bank and a tree potentially. But this almost looks like a cow, like a cow laying down by the water, and that's the cow's reflection in the water. So, because it's got the ears that kind of go that way, or a dog, or some kind of animal. But to me, it looks kind of more like a cow. So that's what I got for that one. And then the sketchbook. This one's a little creepy, but also a little interesting too. Okay. First, if you cover up kind of this, kind of like a hummingbird, or there's also a bird flying that way. So like there's its mouth is like open and it's kind of flying that way. And then this can be like a flower, and that can be like a flower. But because this is here, it kind of throws a wrench in the whole situation, because this totally looks like a skeleton, or not a skeleton, a skull to me. Like if you do like that, that's like the head of the skull. These are the eye sockets, the nose, and the mouth teeth part. And it's just really hard for me to unsee that. But it also looks like, you know, there's flowers behind the skull. I almost want to do all of those things. And then also down here, this almost looks like a frog head. His eyes would be here and there. Okay. So yeah, I know I do want to make some flowers in the background because it already kind of has that floral look. I don't know, I might just make it kind of a collage of things, you know? So I'm excited about getting to work on these. I think I want to start with this one, and then I definitely want to do this one, okay? And we'll see how much time I have left because, you know, if y'all are interested in seeing the rest of these finished, maybe I'll do a separate video for them. You know, so I don't know. We'll just see. We'll just see how far I get. How about that? I don't know why I do everything in the water, but I kind of want to do this like almost like a lily pad flower. Something kind of like that. And that can actually be a petal also. Ooh, so we're like blending the idea of skull and flower. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we're giving it a go. I love this part right up here. So. I know I've like dried this already, but I want to see if I can get rid of this line. Just kind of blend it out so it's gone. I do want this to be kind of like a frog. And here's an eyeball. And there's an eyeball. He's kind of not an angry frog, but all right, frog. I don't know what kind of flower this is, but I feel like got red and some yellow. Make them a bit orange. And I have completely covered up the bird. Got a big old flower going on. Kind of going with the flow. It almost looks like one of those flowers on a lily pad. And here's a frog also on the lily pad. So here's this lily pad that they're chilling on. Okay. Oops. There we go. Now, because this is so dark, going over top of it is not really an option. Thinking about like tracing all the petals in the black so it's not so obvious a thing. You know, I definitely want to get this frog guy kind of locked in. See, that way this will be less obvious. All right, I think I'm pretty good with that. I'm gonna make this a really bright, make it look like the sun. The sun is really bright, and that's why this part's kind of glowing. All right, there's that one. I think I'm gonna leave it like this. It's a little all over the place. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at the same time, it kind of does make sense. I like this little frog down here. I almost wish you could see more of him, but you know, kind of adds a little something over here for whatever reason. If I hadn't pointed out the skull, then maybe you would never see the skull face. Maybe you still don't see the skull face. But either way, I don't know. I kind of like it. And it almost reminds me of like stained glass. And we'll move on to the next one. All right, time to do the owl pool party. I think I definitely want to try to make this like a flamingo floaty. Outline his head, make it come back around like this. Now that I've outlined it, can you see it a little better? And I wanted to see if I could get rid of some of this blue. Took me a second, but I found his other eyeball. All right, this one's definitely making me laugh at myself. I don't really like it. I mean, it's definitely what I saw, but I just don't like it. I wanted to put like his big old feet hanging out because owls have those big old feet, but when I did it, it kind of just didn't look right. It's like I don't like that he's red. Maybe I don't like that he's red. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like just changing it up or something. I don't know. Because it's so like murky. Anything that I add is just not really coming out, I guess. Maybe I made it worse. I like his face a little bit better. I don't know. All right, I'm thinking about doing something drastic. I really just hate the red. So I'm gonna get rid of the red. I'm gonna cover it up with this purple. The red is just, oh man. So now that I've covered up the red, maybe I can make it look not so weird, maybe. I don't know. Almost looks like a penguin. All right, that's it. That's all I got. I'm moving on. I don't hate it, okay? I hate this part. I love his face. I love the little flamingo inner tube thing that he's sitting in. I like that he's in a swimming pool. I like that I kept the woman sun tanning, and I added a little towel under her and like an umbrella shape instead of that hat, because I felt like the hat was gonna almost look like it was on top of Flamingo's head instead of her head. Added like a fence kind of in the background, and I like all of that. The only thing I really hate is the owl's body. I don't know, that's the best I could get. I almost feel like he would look better if he was just black, like if he had really dark black wings and I took the white kind of down into the black. I think I really like this corner the best. Do like his face. It was fun. It was fun to cover all this up. This was annoying, but the rest of it was a lot of fun. So you win some, you lose some. I'm sure somebody out there is gonna love it. Let me know. Let me know your opinion on it. Even though I've got only 2 completed ones, I still created a lot to work from. And I will continue with these. If I do complete them, I will show them in a video. If there's an overwhelming voice in the comments of y'all saying, please finish them in another video, we want to see them all, then I'll definitely make that happen. That being said, this one is definitely getting turned into the swamp dragonfly scene because I just can't leave that one alone. I'm really happy with both of these. He looks like an owl / Easter bunny, but I love this scene. And I still really love this corner. I'm obsessed with this corner. Maybe I'll cut it. I'll just trim it out. Pretend like the owl never happened, but I do like his face. Anyway, I'm repeating. All right, so if you're interested in watching some more intuitive art making, I have a whole playlist right over here. And as always, thank you to everyone who hit the like button and to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.